Nearly 600 days survived in this hardcore Minecraft world. My goal has been to create an insane world full of awesome builds. Today, I want to push this even further. Going back to my roots as a Minecraft builder, some of the most popular videos on my YouTube channel are about planning big builds. Today, I want to build a town, going through the entire process starting from nothing and creating something awesome. Before we start, be sure to subscribe as it helps me out a ton with letting YouTube know you like my videos. My goal is to hit 1 million subscribers this year, but let's get rocking. With big projects like these, I don't like going in blind. Bordering on the river, I'm including some docks for fishing boats and 2 larger docking locations for trade ships in the future. In the town, I want to have a bunch of buildings with a market at the center where all of the roads come together. Some will have a purpose like a tavern or a storage building, others will just be residential houses. With that in mind, it's time to terraform the land so it's easy to build on. But first, time to get some blocks. Stone acquired, and next I flew over to the snowy plains biome to gather a load of dirt. Placing the shulkers down, and it's time to grind. Three shulker boxes ready to go there. Let's gather these things up and get back home. Resources acquired, but I've run into a wee bit of a problem. I only have 22 golden carrots to my name, and I would really hate to starve to death inside this world. First off, time to repair up the tools just a little bit over here, because I'm gonna need a load of emeralds to buy a bunch of golden carrots. Haven't been down here for a while, but how we doing, farmers, if I can walk through the door? Progress, 1 round done. This is the real behind the scenes about how these videos are made. You all just see the flashiness and the shininess of the new stuff that's made, and I gotta stare at these librarians for hours. There we go, we're all done. Food, stone, and dirt acquired. Only one more item I need, that I always need. More spruce wood. All right, that should hopefully do it. I probably shouldn't leave it on the ground. But it is finally time to terraform and build up the docks. Let's go. Starting off, I need to clear a large amount of land along the river's edge in order to build up a bulwark to attach our docks to. And I should have definitely done this earlier as I filled up another shulker box full of stone. Time to place it all back down. After the walls, I used some oak wood as well as some spruce slabs to create all of the docks over here. It's simple, but it works out really well. Docks are in place, and I added some lanterns down here. And next up, I want to spend a little bit of time smoothing this area out with some dirt. Needing a way to walk up, I then added 2 staircases to get from the docks up to the ground level. We've got a little bit more shape to this build now, especially with our staircases in. Since my items are just sitting out here in the open, I think first and foremost, I want to build a storage room for the docks. And right down here should be the perfect spot. Do a 5-wide door in there. We'll do another 5-wide here. And then we can bring ourselves back and do a 3 and a 3. Yeah. First off, it's time to build up the archways for the front of our storage building. I wanted to use a bunch of spruce wood over here so it can contrast against the warmer tones I'm using with the granite, brick, and terracotta that's going to be added onto the rest of this. I did have to dig away the terrain a bunch back here to make it leveled out so we can actually have a flat place for the storage room before bringing in a small second floor area almost as a way to look out over the harbor and everything like that with this dark oak section in here. Then I got to adding on the roof using spruce blocks as a trim right over here and kind of inverting everything else that I've been doing of where we're going to be having the deep slate inside of the middle of this one. Using a copper bit for the roof on the back taller structure over there so we get some views out in the front, and then also adding in that deep slate right here throughout the main structure itself with a bunch of windows so we can get a lot of good airflow. This is already so much more space than I had inside of my starter house, and I am loving it. We'll have to fill it out some more here soon. Next, I wanted to spend a bit of time working on this because it's not my favorite right now. So I think if we were to clear out some spaces like this and just bring in some tough block back here, it'll help to normalize things. Yeah, let's do that going all the way down. There we go. That is looking a million times better. I'm really happy I spent the time doing that. I've got all the shulker boxes moved over here now as well. And the next thing I'm wanting to do is bring in the beacon back home. But first, because I'm dumb, I didn't dig a pathway to get to it already. So I have to find the beacon down here. Oh, we got the buff. There's hope. Ooh, diamonds. Nice. Ah, there we go. Perfect. Hello, beacon. For this, I'm just going to take the beacon itself and leave the iron. Grabbing some more iron from the iron farm over here. Thankfully, we've got plenty. Now, the reason I needed the beacon is I have a load more terraforming I need to do out here. Like cleaning up underneath the dock so that it doesn't look so flat down here. Mining underwater is so great and so terrible at the exact same time. I gotta figure out how to pick up all these blocks. Oh, that's my head. The reason for lowering all of this is I just want to be able to come down here and bone meal the base a bunch and get a lot of seagrass. All right, there we go. That is much better. I'm trying to focus on the town today, so leaving this a little bit more bare bones I think is okay. Next up, my friends, we've got to terraform this hill. It's buildable, but I want to get a better slope working up here, tearing away the landscape and bringing down the entire hill by more than 3 blocks in some spaces. And the best terraforming tip I can give you all while I'm working through all of this is to create some guidelines, almost as if you're creating a spiderweb shape of what your final goal is going to be, and then you just fill in the lines in between those. And it works out so great and saves a bunch of headache down the road. Sorted out the end over here so we at least have an idea moving forwards. So this was the old, and this is the new. But I've got to load more land to tear away and dirt to keep placing down. So I got back to work and I've spent over 2 hours placing dirt alone on this project. $18,200 dirt placed down so far. And things are looking pretty snazzy out here. I'm really happy with this one. I've just got to finish bringing it from there all the way down here. But I want to fix up the edge of the lake a little bit. So rounding it off a little something right around here, then I want to bring it up pretty steep. Am I really going to bring the terraforming all the way around to here? Yeah, I am. All right, just do it. The project just keeps growing at this point, so I continued adding in even more guidelines and bringing up the new land that I'm going to be building this future town on top of. I'm so absolutely excited to get this thing rocking, though. Small issue is arising as I only have this much dirt left, and I still have to fill in this entire area. I'm hoping that we have enough. I really am. So I best just keep placing it all down and find out. We've made some amazing progress. This entire side is done, and unfortunately the section I still have to do is right where the town goes. So back to the dirt farm. I'm gonna try for 3 more shulker boxes, but I don't think the shovel durability can do it. Well, that's looking pretty dead to me, but we've got ourselves a full shulker box and a little bit more. Hopefully this can do it. I think I've got enough. I think I've got enough dirt over here. All I've got left to do is this section. Oh, and we got that much. Oh, we can do it. We can finally get this terraforming done. Very much a love-hate relationship with the double dirt method right now. It looks so good, but it's so much pain. So much pain. The last dirt, we're done. We've done it. Oh, that feels so good to have this done. So far, I have transformed this land from the stony shore biome into this. A great area to start building our town. And now I can start playing the game. In a minute, as I keep hearing zombies groaning underneath the landscape, so I gotta go light it up. Oh, there's a lot of them. Somehow I thought this little strip of torches would be like, yeah, these guys, they'll stop the mobs from spawning. We've got our storage room and we've got the terrain flattened out. And I think the best option from here is to build the buildings from the front, slowly working backwards. Over here, I want to create a harbor master's house. Figured we could start out with a big old deep slate box, because what I want to do from here is create a tower sticking out of the top of it. All right, we're getting some good things going over here. We can start detailing a little bit, but I think most of the detailing I want to save until all of the buildings are in. For now, I just want more glow lichen. And I would like this to feel a bit more like a house. So I was thinking it could be fun to come over here and make it look like the harbor master is almost hanging over the harbor. Or maybe there's just a bit of like a balcony hanging out here so it doesn't look too heavy. And then the actual house starts right back in here. I started stacking up a bunch of oak wood around here, as well as using some spruce inside of the build, because I want this one to blend in and make it easy to build off of for the overall style. I think that's a pretty good addition for now to the harbor master's house. We've just got to figure out everything else. Next up, I want to include a sailmaker's workshop. So some big storage entry doorways, but these are probably going to need to be a must. It's a good start for the base layer over here, but I want to make it look a little bit more industrial. For that, I think we can just go with a very large boxy structure, and we just incorporate a bunch of stripped dark oak logs. And from here, I think we just fill in the copper and allow it to age down over the next 15 episodes. Take one is done, and it's looking pretty good. We got a lot of detail work to do on here, but it's a good start. Now for the actual workshop, I thought it could be fun to bring ourselves back here a little ways and give the sailmaker a little bit of like an outdoor working area. Nice, this will be perfect. We can start building some stuff out here now. I've been working back here a little bit and I am starting to like it. I do have an idea though. I want to extend an awning from the building up there out to here. This is honestly one of my favorite things to be doing here. We take the smooth quartz, just send it directly up like this, and then we just do a little stripey pattern. There we go. We got the workstation finished up for our sailmaker for now. Next up, I'm not super happy that this area is so wide open. Breaking away from the original plan is totally okay for projects like these, and we've got a new addition here in the front with this house, and I'm really happy I added it in. Continuing on with changes for today's town project here, I've moved the market from being a circular thing to being this blob. Another step I want to do here is squeeze in the buildings a little bit more than I originally had intended. Things have changed a little bit from the original plan as mentioned, but I think something like this will do great for us here today. Okay, except maybe one little tiny guy right over here. One more little tiny guy. I think what's gonna help the most next is fixing up the road, but unfortunately, all of this turned back to grass. So I need to change it all out for coarse dirt and maybe adding in a little bit of rooted dirt too. You know all that dirt that I spent more than 4 hours placing down earlier in today's episode? Guess who just tore all of it back up to cover it all down with coarse dirt? Oh, we're being very, very efficient with our time today, but it is looking so much better in here now. I'm always amazed by how much adding in the dirt roadway brings our town to life. So coming over here and adding in the final section, connecting ourselves up to the bridge, and we're all done. From there, I was your classic fWhip and went to gather a bunch more spruce wood before moving on to chop down a bunch of birch trees as well, so we have resources to keep on building. So much has been done here, but my next hot tip for y'all is sometimes you need to take a break from a project you're working on or you'll burn out. With that, I recently reached out to my members community, asking for them to help me come up with a bunch of boat designs to throw down here on the docks. The first boat design is by this Thomas, which uses warp wood and dark oak wood with a little bit of a control room in there, and I think it looks fantastic here on the docks. The next design is by TK Ander, using some spruce and oak. I am modifying these designs a little bit as I go, and we also have a third design here by Saradite. There we go, one more is completed. I love the variety we're getting out of all of these. We've currently got 3 boats sitting at the dock here, and I think what would be cool is instead of having all of them just sitting, what if one's out in the river actually fishing? I think right here should work out pretty great. This one here is designed by SGT Blocky, who you might remember from designing the Copper Express in Season 2. The fourth boat design over here is by Blobbin, utilizing a bunch of spruce wood as well as gray banners for it. I've got 2 boat slots left. I'll tell you what, send me some designs over on Twitter, I'll pick out 2 of them and throw them here inside the world. But for now, it's time to get back to the main project at hand, building our village. Setting off on the biggest stint of building in this episode, spending over 4 hours designing and implementing these new builds, we now have the village stables and a massive interconnected mess of structures to complete the inn and tavern as the centerpiece for our town. At this point, we still have 8 structures left to build and the marketplace before we can move into the final detailing phase. With all the main structures in place, I now finally get to focus on the supporting structures. Trying to add in as much variety as I can to avoid the cookie cutter look for these builds, I started bringing up walls with a bunch of different materials, ranging from bricks and granite, spruce and strip spruce logs, cobblestone mixed in with a bunch of tuff, we got deep slate in there, you name it, pretty much every block I could find is in these houses. It's a village, pillagers are attacking. No roofs are added in yet, so we gotta raise those here in a minute, but every additional structure except this guy right here is ready to get the roof added on. Again, trying to mix it up here as much as possible with these new house additions, not only changing the blocks I'm using on the roof from incorporating some deep slate as well as some spruce wood as well as some other random blocks I could find, but also changing the slope itself of these builds, going from some being directly made out of stairs or full blocks with stairs on top of them, then even a few being made out of just slabs, so we can have some shorter looking buildings mixed in here as well. The town is really starting to come together now with all of the buildings in place, and I love adding in all of these chimneys. It looks so good with the little smoke going. Next up, we need to start adding the personality to this place, as well as a little bit of lighting to keep it safe. We're now officially in the final detailing phase, which means I gotta start having a lot of fun adding in ladders, adding in glowberries, and adding everything else that brings this environment to life. So far, my answer to building inside of this area and decorating is just, I don't know, what do I put here? A field? Yeah, why not? Let's just put a little mini field. Over here? Yeah, field 2. Field 2 works great. Random open space? Field. Starting to have those thoughts of, was it smart to do this entire project in one episode? Still don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. 2 items remaining, the market over here and this building, which I want to turn into another form of a workshop. Starting off with a brick and granite base over here. I want to incorporate some terracotta inside of here and end with a super tall wall, something like this. Then using some spruce over here, we can create a really large doorway that we could use as an entrance to the workshop. Starting off with some stone brick for a trim down here. And working them up the side a bit, we have another pillager patrol. What? There's so many here. If I don't look at him, he will go away. Right now, this just feels like generic medieval building with a big door. With a small workshop outside where they're maybe building a wagon, it helps bring the vibe in. But in reality, what I would like to work on next is making a few like carts and wagons throughout our village so that it looks like people are actually moving around in here. I make this design right here pretty often, but I love it, so it's gonna do great. Another little guy right over here, or something like this right here can work out pretty well. More hand carts near the storage area are probably smart to have, and one more big guy right over here, which I want to make it look like it's carrying a bunch of logs, and quickly wrapping it with a few more signs. This is the level you want to get to when you want to take your build from bland and empty, but we should probably finish up the market before we do anything else crazy. Taking the base design we have and turning it into 4 uniquely shaped market stalls over here, so I also have a space to add in a tree in the future to bring more focus. We've got the shell of the market stalls ready to go, but the thing that we really need is back over at the sheep farm, where I want to use a lot of, let's grab some cyan, some white, do some orange, light gray for sure, maybe some gray as well. But what we can do is grab white, cyan, do that on the sides, then we just bring it consistent across the top. In the middle one, also a quick tip here, add some carpet, and then also along the edges too. Most importantly, from far away, this really looks great now. Next step, trees. Starting with a grand birch tree in the market so I can introduce a new tree type into my world, and who doesn't love a good birch tree? Then moving forward with adding some smaller spruce trees with a fence for a trunk, and flying around and adding in quite a few large oak trees to dot around the entire town. It is currently day 671, and I can finally say the town is, it's a town, it's a village, it's a small city, it's a settlement. It's a hamlet. Along with, there we have it, the market is ready. We've just got some random market stalls in here from a flower shop, some sort of tools and supplies shop that of course needs some barrel spam. We've got a baked goods store here selling some cakes and some candles and more flowers. One element left to go, my friends, and that is planting a giant wheat field right along back here. Even though I've been working on this video for over 10 days IRL, I haven't forgotten about adding in the custom field within this kingdom to watch this place grow even further. This wheat field is going to work great as a barrier around the town to help it feel more completed instead of just randomly ending off at some point. Taking a look at where we started, this land was pretty gross for a stony beach biome. But now, I built an entire town resting on the edge of the river, terraforming, building, and decorating it all. This video has taken so very long to produce, so if you did enjoy, please leave a like down below and subscribe as it helps me out a ton. Also, if you would like to see a full world tour and a more in-depth tour of this town itself, I'll be uploading a world tour to my second channel, fWhip 2, within the next few days. You can find a link down in the description, but with that, my friends, I will catch you on the fWhip side.